Welcome to video 3 of 5 in the presentation tips series. We've already covered in video 1 the best way to approach a presentation is to keep in mind that it's not about you and that it's about your audience. In video 2, we talked about how to identify who your primary audience is. The next question to ask would be, what is it that your primary audience is trying to take away from your presentation? The best way to approach this for me has been to put myself in the shoes of my primary audience and try to extract answers to the questions that most often come to mind. Questions like, what do you want or need from me? What do I have to do and why do I have to do it? Are you giving me all the information I need to do what you're asking of me? Are you telling me new and valuable information that I can learn from or use? Or are you just repeating what I already know? But to give a successful presentation, it's not enough just to answer these questions. You will need to tune your presentation in a way that preps your primary audience to take in everything that you'll be sharing or asking of them. The way I try to approach this is by doing two things. One, making the whole experience as easy and comfortable for your audience as possible, and two, by making sure that I'm telling a story that matters to my audience. Let's break these down a bit. How can I make the experience easy for my audience? The more I'm able to reduce the unknown and uncertainty, and the more I'm able to clarify objectives and expectations, the more at ease my audience will be. Let's try an example. Thank you for coming. We've got a full agenda, starting with reviewing 4 solution options, all of which can address the problem at hand. We do require a decision at the end of this meeting, so please hold all your questions until the Q&A time at the end of the presentation. What you unintentionally manage to do is to cause your audience to put up an invisible wall rather than actually prepping them to be open and engaged. Now let's try that again, this time trying to make it easy for our audience. Thank you for coming. We're going to share with you our recommended solution to solve the problem at hand, along with an overview of the other solutions that were considered and assessed. Our goal is to answer any questions you may have and provide you with all the information you need to make a decision after this meeting. You have now put your audience at ease, giving them realistic expectations without causing them to put up any walls. Back to our 2 points, on the second point of telling a story that is relevant to your audience, it all goes back to knowing your audience's interests and priorities. This storytelling mindset and approach becomes critical, especially when you're working with an audience who's not already aware of your work or sold on what you'd be presenting. The whole purpose of your story should be to share with your primary audience the why behind your objective in a way that matters to them. For example, you can go in with all the facts. This project will solve problem X, it will take a year to implement, and has a 3-year payback period. In this approach, you're leaving the support and decision in the hands of a mathematical equation. What if there's another project that solves another outstanding problem? It may cost less, be implemented in less time, and have a shorter payback period. This sounds better for the bottom line. So why should your audience care about your project when there are other options that mathematically work out better? Knowing your audience and their interests will allow you to know what their priorities are. Are they driven by increasing sales? Or is it reducing losses? Do they care about client experience or employee experience or retention? What is it that keeps them up at night? A lot of times what people buy into isn't a mathematical equation, but it's the story that fits into the bigger picture. So if you're able to match that and fill in those gaps, then you can get the support you need. There are 3 key points to do this right. Number 1, the order in which you present information does make a difference. Before you present a solution, you need to paint a picture and talk about the problem. Number 2, the level of details you dive into need to match your audience. If your audience is looking for the big picture and you go in with tables and charts and all the details, you will lose your audience. And similarly, if your audience is interested in the details and all you're doing is giving the big picture view, you're going to lose your audience. And the third and most important point to keep in mind, it's about being genuine, honest, and transparent. In other words, don't try to sell your audience on something you can't back up. The fastest way to lose any credibility and put a dent in your reputation is by being dishonest or misleading or by promising something that you can't follow through with. So to wrap it up, the key to successfully tuning a presentation to allow your target audience to take in all that you're sharing and asking of them is to 1. Making the whole experience as easy as possible for your audience, and 2. By making sure you're telling an accurate story that matters to your audience and that they can relate to. In my next video, I'll be sharing tips on the types of pre-work and preparation you can do to set yourself up for success, so stay tuned. And don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe.